Good morning. Today I'm back with new story, The Crane and the Fox. A fox and a crane lived in a forest. They both were friends. One day the fox invited the crane for dinner. Happy to be invited, the crane flew to the fox's house in the evening. She knocked on his door with her long beak. The fox quickly opened the door and welcomed the crane. The fox had made some soup for the dinner. The soup smelled delicious and it made the crane very hungry. The fox served the soup in two shallow bowls. With a smile on his face, he offered one of the bowls to the crane. Without thinking about the guest, he soon began to release his soup. The poor crane could not drink the soup at all. The bowl was too shallow for the crane's long beak. However, it just smiled politely and stayed hungry. Before she left, the crane thanked the fox for the dinner. She also invited him to her house for dinner the next day. She decided to teach him a lesson. The next day, when the fox came to Crane's house, he smelled a delicious porridge. He started feeling very hungry. The crane served the food in two tall and narrow vessels and offered one to the fox. The crane began to eat. She could easily eat the food from the tall vessel with her long beak, but the fox could not even reach the food inside the vessel. This time it was a fox's turn to go hungry. The crane taught him a good lesson. Okay children, shall we go through the video?
Once upon a time, there lived a fox and a crane in a forest. They soon became friends. One day, the fox invited the crane to dinner. Happy to be invited, that evening the crane flew to the fox's house. She knocked on his door with her long beak. The fox quickly opened the door and welcomed the crane. The fox had made some soup for dinner. The soup smelled delicious and it made the crane very hungry. The sly fox had served the soup in two shallow bowls. With a smile on his face, he offered one of the bowls to the crane. Without thinking about his guest, he soon began to eat. On the other hand, the poor crane could not drink the soup at all. The bowl was too shallow for the crane's long beak. However, she just smiled politely and stayed hungry. The selfish fox even asked the crane why she was not having the soup. She told him that she could not eat from the shallow bowl. However, she thanked the fox for the dinner and also invited him to her home for dinner the next day. She had decided to teach the fox a lesson. When the fox came to the crane's house, he found a variety of delicious dishes. The fox started feeling very hungry. However, all the food was served in tall and narrow vessels. The crane began to eat. She could easily eat the food from the tall vessels with her long beak. But the fox could not even reach the food inside the jug. This time, it was the fox's turn to go hungry. In this way, the crane taught the fox a lesson.
Thank you and have a nice day.